Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football, a massive opportunity for Mike Elko, this Texas A&M program to, at least in my opinion, assert themselves into that college playoff conversation with a win at home against Missouri. And kind of why I think this is such a crucial game. And for the Texas A&M fans, when we previewed this season going back to the offseason, we kind of said this game against Missouri I think is going to give us a feel for what this Texas A&M team can do in 2024. I think we're sitting in that exact spot heading into this football game. You look at why I think this. You win at home against Missouri. You go into your bye week winning 5 straight football games. That bye week's going to be massive. Like, if Marcel Reed comes out as your starting quarterback and beats Missouri at home, I don't think there's a conversation anymore in terms of who your starting quarterback is going through the rest of 2024. Many of the Texas A&M fans who've been rocking with the boys know I'm a Marcel Reed guy. I think he fits what Texas A&M wants to do a little bit better than Connor Wigman. But I think the most important conversation when you're talking about starting quarterbacks, hey, are you winning football games? Like, yeah, it hasn't been perfect for Marcel Reed, but at the end of the day, he hasn't turned the football over, and he's winning football games for Texas A&M as a starting quarterback. That's the most important stat if you're a college football fan in terms of what quarterback should be used in an offense. And you go into that bye week and say, now we get an extra week to not only get healthy as a football team, but more importantly, continue to build this offense around Marcel Reed. And I think Coach Colin Klein can do a better job, but I think he's done a pretty dang good job of, hey, we designed an offense for Connor Wigman for the last 8 months in the offseason. Now we're having to pivot to a quarterback that has a little bit of a different set of skills. You can tell Texas A&M is beginning to lean into, I should say, what Marcel Reed can do. And I think you're continuing to see some development in terms of what this offense looks like. And then getting that bye week and then going on the road to Mississippi State, I think that's a perfect outlook for Texas A&M. Then you get one of your biggest games of the football season at home once again with LSU. If Texas A&M can get through this one, I think there is a very, very real chance that Texas A&M really puts themselves in that college football playoff conversation come the beginning of November. Now, I want to get into this matchup against Missouri, and for the Texas A&M fans who've been rocking with the fellas, we previewed this one. Then we talked about Missouri and their pathway to win this football game. Now we're going to dive into what Texas A&M can do to have success against Missouri. Fired up to get into this one. Now, before we do, and as always, just want to say thank you to you guys. These kind of deep dives and previews have been a blast for the boys. The amount of support y'all continue to show means the absolute world. If you guys do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. Much more importantly, would love to hear from you guys in the comment section. I think the matter of fact about this football game is it is the definition of a toss-up. There's a reason that the sports books are putting this game as a 2-point spread. Now, you'll have some Missouri fans in the comment section. You'll have some Texas A&M fans in the comment section talking about their team winning by 3 scores in this football game. I think most fans who've watched a lot of football know that this is going to be a close one. Like, this is probably going to come down to the fourth quarter, what team makes the plays. Now, if you're Texas A&M heading into this football game, what are some things that you can do to really give you the edge against this Missouri team? And I think it starts with squeezing down on this Missouri offense. If there's one thing that has been a little bit surprising in terms of Missouri's offense not really firing on all cylinders, it's been Brady Cook pushing the ball down the field. I mean, this was a staple of the Missouri offense going back to 2023, how explosive they could be pushing the ball down the field to guys like Luther Burden. Taking a look at Brady Cook's numbers, and it certainly shows up on the film, he's 3 of 14, 20 plus yards down the field. Brady Cook's average depth of target is less than 8 yards to start the 2024 season. This Missouri offense, as of right now, 4 games in the season for Missouri, they haven't really shown the propensity and ability to successfully push the ball down the field like they did in 2023. And why is that such a big storyline for Texas A&M? I think it allows you to be a little bit more aggressive in the box trying to stop a Missouri run game that's been very good, top 25 in the country. Now, the good thing for Texas A&M is if you feel comfortable that you can take away that deeper third, if you feel comfortable that Missouri can't really attack your deeper third, you got 2 safeties, a laundry list of safeties, but I think headlined by guys like Dalton Brooks and Marcus Ratcliffe, who are for lack of better terms, hammers against the run. Like there aren't a lot of safeties that thrive in the tackle box, stopping the run. Texas A&M's got two of them, and Marcus Radcliffe and Dalton Brooks. And if Missouri so far in the season hasn't showed the willingness or ability to successfully and consistently push the ball down the field, if you're Mike Elko, you're Texas A&M, we got two safeties that are really good stopping the run. We know Missouri wants to run the football. We're walking Dalton Brooks and Marcus Radcliffe into the box all day and trying to stop this Missouri run game. Now, getting a little bit more into stopping the Missouri run game, you see, and we kind of talked about this in the preview and prediction episode, Missouri loves to go to that outside zone. I think Texas A&M, from a personnel standpoint, it matches up quite well against what Missouri wants to do. You look at that outside zone concept, you're trying to get your defensive lineman kind of moving laterally. And quite frankly, there's just not a lot of defensive linemen that have the size, but also the athleticism to play on the inside and move laterally like Missouri's run game demands that those defensive linemen do. I think Texas A&M has those kind of guys on the inside and at the edge rusher position. Now you start on the edge, I think, Nick Scorton, Shamar Stewart, like elite pass rushers. We've seen that throughout the last couple of years, but also what they do very well, they're heavy-handed. Like they know how to set an edge and play the run game good. And with that outside zone concept, with that running game, trying to get to the perimeter, the fact that you have two edge rushers that not only are good pass rushers, but also very, very good stopping the run, I think certainly helps. And I think secondly, you got some really athletic big bodies on the inside. Obviously, guys like Shamar Turner, I'd say Albert Regis, and I think I'm saying his name wrong, so I apologize if I am. A lot of you guys in the comment section, let me know. Albert can move, man. Like this is an athletic, not only big and strong, but an athletic defensive line that I think, again, from a physical trait standpoint, can do really well stopping this outside zone concept. Again, you go look back at guys like McKinley Jackson, you probably wouldn't want a guy like McKinley Jackson on the football field all that much against Missouri and what they try to do on the run game, because what is McKinley Jackson kind of built for last year was kind of two-gapping, dealing with a lot of power concepts. If you're Texas A&M, I think you got the perfect personnel to deal with how Missouri wants to run the football. Now, another conversation you got to have is the linebackers have to be good, because Missouri's really good at running that outside zone concept, having their offensive linemen work up to the opposing linebackers and kind of get hat on hats. That outside zone concept is very reliant on linebackers being disciplined, being able to pick through traffic, being able to play clean and go up and make tackles. That's something that if you're Texas A&M, you're looking for an excellent game from your linebackers fitting the run. And again, that kind of goes back to the conversation. If you can throw another safety into that box and have another second level defender that's able to fit the run, I think that could really help Texas A&M. So you look at two things that I think, Texas A&M could have the advantage in is one, the personnel in terms of stopping the run, but more importantly, as of right now, like Missouri hasn't shown that ability to push the ball down the field. If you're Mike Elko, you're saying, hey, come show me that Brady Cook on the road at College Station can come up and make some of those big time throws, pushing the ball down the field. And until they show us that, we're going to be really aggressive with our safety, specifically trying to stop the run. And if you can get this Missouri team into third and long situations, get that crowd going, pin your ears back with some of these edge rushers, that's the recipe for Texas A&M to have a lot of success on the defensive side of the football. Now, flipping to the offensive side, I think it starts with, look, if you're Coach Colin Klein, you are grinding the film of what Boston College was able to do and Vanderbilt. Now, you saw Boston College have some success in the first half, leaning into what Thomas Castellanos can do as an athlete at the quarterback position. Now, granted, Missouri made some really good adjustments, and Thomas Castellanos and Boston College didn't have as much success in the second half, but in that first half, they were able to do some things with an athletic quarterback that gave Missouri some problems. A lot of read option, a lot of kind of speed option plays, testing Missouri's athleticism in terms of getting to the edge. If you're Coach Colin Klein, and we've kind of talked about this, it's hard to do because I don't think Colin Klein and Mike Elko were expecting Marcel Reed to be the starting quarterback when you were installing the offense going back to the fall and spring. And so it's been kind of a quick turnaround in terms of building an offense around Marcel Reed, because you're going to call an offense a hell of a lot different with Marcel Reed at quarterback than you would with Connor Wigman. You're seeing Coach Colin Klein lean into Marcel Reed a little bit more. You're seeing Texas A&M run the football a little bit more. If you're Coach Colin Klein, this is the week where you're going back to that Vandy film. You're going back to the first half against Boston College and say, what things did Diego Pavia and Thomas Castellanos have success with against Missouri? We're trying to bring some of those concepts out on Saturday afternoon to help Marcel Reed have some success. Again, I think there are certainly things that favor Missouri in this football game. There are certainly some things that favor Texas A&M in this football game. And I think for Texas A&M fans, this feels very similar to how we talked about this game against Notre Dame. Like, it's going to come down to who makes the plays, not only to win the game, but who also makes the plays not to lose the game as well. And you go back to what happened against Notre Dame. Texas A&M made plays that lost in the football game. And give Notre Dame some credit. They made some plays that won that football game as well. The one thing I love about Marcel Reed is, although he's a young quarterback, hasn't turned the football over, and that matters. Like, this is a game where some of those turnovers that we saw Connor Wigman have can really impact the outcome of this football game. I'm fired up for this one. As a college football fan in general, this is going to be arguably the best game that we see on Saturday. Fired up for this one. Would love to hear from you guys in the comment section. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.